Hello, and welcome to episode number 40 of Nintendo Therapy, a show about the latest Nintendo news and rumors, as well as a celebration of all of the things Nintendo. And joining me this week is Harrison, and Harrison alone.
That's it. This is me. Hey, Kevin.
Bare,
Welcome back.
bare bones therapy session this week.
We got it.
So, ready for some Nintendo therapy, ready to hear all about some Nintendo stuff. What's been going on with Nintendo and you this week?
Man, so I'll start with what I've been playing. Because it's good and bad news. Good news. The good news is I did finish my indie game on my Switch. So shout out to completing games. You know, I should just say that. And not only that, but I actually 100%ed it and had a great time doing it. And 100% is not equal across any game, but I've only 100%ed like 5 games in my life. It's just not my thing. It's just like it's not my play style to like get all the secrets and all the achievements and all the badges and everything. But like it just turned out that like I was just having a good time with the gameplay loop. So that's my good news. My bad news is I didn't start Luigi's Mansion because I was so preoccupied, and but I'm starting it today. I'm gonna go out, perhaps try to get a pumpkin latte somewhere, and
It's the season.
just try to get in the right mindset. It's queued up, you know. And other good news is that I didn't deviate. You know, I focused this week. I finished a game.
Yeah, and you 100%ed it. That's great. I tend to 100% a lot of games depending on your definition because I know some people consider some crazy things like maxing out the money counter and stuff like that in a 100% run. I'm like, if I do all the objectives of the game and find all the collectibles, that's 100% to me. And I tend to do that with games. I'm working on Lego right now. As a matter of fact, I just finished the whole overworld map, which has like, I don't know, hundreds of things to do. It's like Tears of the Kingdom. I talked about that on here before. There's so much to do on the overworld map. And I just finished all of them. And now I just need to finish all the like missions. There's like collectibles in those. And then I'll have 100% of the game.
Awesome. Yeah.
I think I wrote this in the notes here. I think the Lego games are addictive for like the same reason as slot machines, because you can always hear that like that you're collecting the little money bricks. It's like, it's always going on. It keeps you playing. It definitely adds to the addictiveness of the game.
It's the ultimate collectathon.
Yeah.
It's it's constantly yeah it's constantly almost too much, like it's rewarding you, and I think that's the
Yeah.
biggest criticism I hear from non-Lego fans, besides the fact where it's like, why are you playing a little baby game, you know,
Well, not only is it always
things like that.
rewarding you though, but like the money you pick up. I have 4 billion Lego dollars right now because you're just always picking up those little studs. And I think that's like a big part of it because you know how like the slot machine areas, they like to always be playing the sound effect of it winning so that it keeps people playing. I think it's the same sort of thing. You're always hearing that that you're collecting the bricks.
Well, I put in your notes, Kevin, that if you like slot machines and you like the the psychology behind all of that, you know, once again, Vampire Survivors is the perfect game, um, because it uses all of those casino, like it's I think it's crazy how they can predict your actions in a certain way that in keeps you in there, you know, keeps you playing.
And you said that's on mobile?
It's free on mobile. It's free on mobile, and then you can buy the DLC on mobile, and then on Switch it's $5, usually on sale. We are getting a free update, I think tomorrow. we're getting a free update with a new map. So they're
Ah,
constantly they're constantly updating this game.
because for mobile this week, I was playing a game we'll be talking about later in the podcast. So now that I'm kind of done with that, I think I might start some Vampire Survivors. Just give it a try because you and Sean are speaking very highly of it.
Yeah. Keep bringing it up, but it is going to be one of the best indie games on Switch this year. Possibly number two, because I think number one, as I've said, is going to be Dave the Diver, which comes out when as we record this in 6 days. Yeah,
Oh,
uh, or well, actually, no, a week from today, basically your time. So yeah, it's crazy. It's just. I mentioned that the guy who developed it developed online gambling. So yeah,
okay.
so the psychology behind like having the lights and the fireworks and the buzzing and the sounds and I just think that's all very interesting. The way that they can predict like your emotions and your feelings towards all of that.
So
I'm
it's
rambling a
set up
little bit.
like brain candy. Basically, it's going to keep giving you that dopamine fix.
Oh yeah, it's the ultimate dopamine game, which is like I guess on the other end I would say like although it's such a cheap game, like it should be in everyone's collection. I think you might not want to play it if you have other games you're like invested in. Because what happened to me is like I picked it up and I was like hooked, immediately. So yeah, I digress on that. I do want to bring up kind of a big picture item before we jump into like anything else big. Um,
Okay.
I've been I've been like kind of checking in on myself on how I feel this week as far as gaming goes because I'm sure you've been seeing me on Twitter or X. I've been going a bit crazy on just this has been I think this has been a week in gaming that we're just gonna remember forever. Like just in general, like there's not that often where like we got a Mario, Sonic, and Spider-Man game all in the same week. I
Hmm.
mean, the child inside of me would be freaking out right now, And although like I'm a gamer who plays lots of weird games and lots of small games, lots of big games. Like this is to me like just what makes gaming special. Like it's like the ultimate thing that makes gaming special. And I'm not sure if I've reacted the right way leading up to it because I've been kind of like, yeah, 2D Mario, Mario Wonder. But at the same time, like this is the first 2D Mario game we've gotten in a long time, and the reception has been insane. So, uh,
Oh, I mean, yeah, I've seen some crazy reactions. Like people not only saying like it's the best Mario game ever, it's the best Nintendo game ever. Like, and I think that obviously people get caught up in hype, but that's got to mean it's at least a very good game. You know what I mean? When you cut off all the insanity, because I always like to remind myself in these situations, Skyward Sword released to 10 out of 10 reviews as well and a lot of hype, and that was not the game people were predicting it would be. Um so yeah, just that's worth keeping in mind is look at how many 10 out of 10s Skyward Sword got at the time.
yeah, but when I checked Metacritic yesterday, there were 73 reviews on it, and it's already a Metacritic must play. And the overall score, the last time I checked, was 93 out of 100. Uh, and this is just like it's 2023. This is a 2D platforming game receiving scores like this on a massive review base. And I think if we compare it to like a game like in the 90s where games like this would be more popular with a smaller review base, I think this is something. but
Mhm.
I'll give you the Reddit terminology. Do you think this is something, nothing, or everything?
I think it's something. Yeah, for sure. I don't think it's going to be everything. I don't think. I don't. I honestly, I don't know. I grew up with the classic 2D Mario's, so I'm so like I don't see this like replacing them or anything. I think I'm probably going to end up looking at Mario Wonder in 10 years the same way I look at New Super Mario Brothers now when that first came out. The first one, which we'll be talking about all of them eventually, but that first one, I remember how big a deal it was.
Yeah, I just I don't know. I think I need to play it now. It's
Mhm.
it's what a crazy year that like Nintendo has had. Like if Nintendo like is going to receive two Game of the Year nominations this year, like this is totally unexpected in my mind. Like this is totally unexpected. In the same year that we got like a new Mario movie and we got Tears of the Kingdom, like towards the end of this year, like all of a sudden we're gonna get this like sleeper, one of the best games of 2023. I
And
don't know,
Super
man.
Mario RPG.
Yes. Well, that's the other thing I'm overwhelmed about. Like I'm like Mario RPG comes out in like a month from tomorrow. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
there's going to be some overlap for sure because, like I said, I like to collect everything in the games I play, and I doubt I'm going to have all everything collected in Wonder. Um, which I am getting at launch, by the way. I think I told you this, but before I couldn't get it because of the budgeting. Built a new deck, so decks are expensive. Didn't have any money, but my neighbors had a yard sale last weekend, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to like yard sale with us?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I grabbed a bunch of like comic books and video games from the attic. I sold a Sega Saturn. That was a big chunk of it because I've been trying to sell this. I know that on the internet, Sega Saturns sell for a pretty penny, but I've been trying to sell it on Facebook Market and can't even find a buyer. So I was glad to sell that thing finally. Because I never use it. I've had it for like 20 years, I feel like, and I never use it. My Dreamcast, never selling that. But the Saturn, I don't play. I've got one game for it. It was the game that it came with, and I never play it. And now, if you want to buy a game for Sega Saturn, they're all like $100. So no, thank you.
yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I sold that, and that helped me pay for. I got Mario Wonder, which I'm ready to go on. It's all preloaded and ready to go. And I got Pikmin 1 and 2, which I've already played Pikmin 1, but I can finally play that second Pikmin game, which I'm really looking forward to. And one thing I wanted to bring up, though, I wanted to say this to Sean because he's got it. I don't know if you've seen the icon that the Pikmin games have on the Switch home screen. I'm not a fan of what they did for Pikmin 1 and 2. It's so plain.
I haven't seen it, but
It's
I
like
could.
the Pikmin that are in each game. So the Pikmin 1 just has the 3 and they're just standing there and it's like a plain like flower background was so like and it's the same thing for Pikmin 2. It's the Pikmin colors that are in the game and then like a plain flower background. And then Pikmin 3 Deluxe has this like gorgeous artwork with all like the trees and stuff and same thing with Pikmin 4. I don't know. I wish there was more consistency in that artwork there.
I I just wish there was more customization. I mean, like, like just like for example, like the Switch home screen. Like I've heard lots of criticisms about how you can't do anything with it. Like you have a light mode and a dark mode. Like that's not something that I would be interested in particular. But there are customizations within the Switch that I wish that we had. It's very like it's very blah. It's very plain. Like
Well,
it's
this
just
might
like
sound like fanboy talk, but I recently booted up my Wii U to play because I'm excited for Mario Wonder. So I threw New Super Mario Brothers Wii U on, and I actually the home screen on the Wii U. I'm like, I think I prefer this. Like even something that simple because it's got atmosphere. I don't know if you remember it, but it's got that like kind of the same sound effects that the Nintendo Wii had, but it's got this like feel to it that the Switch doesn't have. The Switch is just all clicking. There's no background music or like I don't know. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm in an oasis and I'm in paradise. That's real Nintendo therapy when I'm on that Wii U home screen.
Oh, for
So
sure. I skipped over Wii U, but that's how I feel with the Wii. Um, like
oh, okay.
just
Look up a YouTube video. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's like, I don't know. I think they definitely downgraded the home screen. They upgraded everything else, but the home screen, I don't know. It's kind of the same thing. Everything's in a square, just like it is on the Switch. But the squares are a little more like bubbles, like they were on the Nintendo Wii. And well, that was like channels, but like yeah, they're kind of like bubbles, and they I don't know, man. It's just like it's got a feel to it, and the Switch home screen does not have a feel. It just is. It's getting you where you're going, and that's it.
I learned recently from like I think it was Scott the Woes or like on the Wii U eShop. Was there like a community page on the Wii U eShop, like where you could
There might
leave?
have been. I don't remember that. I remember it had like a cool little animation when you were downloading games of like Mario would like hit the blocks and stuff. And it also had like a slot machine while you were waiting for the eShop to load, which was fun. So those things were cool.
Yeah, because on my list of things I want Nintendo to change, that would be way high up there. Is that just make just make your eShop, well, one, make it faster, but also like um just make it more of a community, honestly. Like
Yeah.
when I look up games on Steam, like typically I look at a game, I look at the reviews, and then I go into the community page and I'll look up discussions and the recent reviews. And
Oh,
at
now that
no
you mention it, I remember that. Yeah, yeah, that was on there.
Yeah. So at no point am I like pulling up like a web browser and pulling up Metacritic and looking up other, or I'm like looking up because I can pull up like screenshots and videos and everything just from the community hub on one thing, and I just get like I'm at the point with when I'm on the Nintendo eShop, like I have to like look up, I have to go to so many other places to make that decision. Whereas I wish it was just all there, like, or at least just have reviews. At least just have like reviews on your thing.
That would be nice. I wonder if they're worried about it negatively impacting sales if a game like I think they want the bad games to sell just as well as the good games, you know?
Yep. That's my cynical take. I mean that's with the amount of shovelware they have on there, that's my cynical take.
I
Um,
remember though when the PlayStation Network used to have a star rating. I don't think it does anymore, but I remember thinking like, man, every single time I checked the star rating for a game I'm interested in, it was always 5 stars. And I was like, why do they even have this thing? It's clearly rigged in some way where every game is 5 stars.
yeah, I just want more. I just want more. I want to know. I just want to like I want to know what the performance of this game in front of me is without having to pull up a million other things. Because then it's lost me. And then yeah, as I said, like I don't know your experience, but lately like the eShop is so slow. Like it just takes forever.
Oh yeah, you have to close out of any application you have open too. If you have anything open in the background, it's just not even going to work. It's going to be
Yeah.
on such a delay that you can't even use it.
Yeah.
But
So
maybe the Switch 2 will fix it all.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like that. Like this is another segment. This is another time. The point is, it's a crazy Mario week. Like that's the most important part. First things first.
Yeah, we should. I mean, we've already talked a little bit about Mario Wonder, but we should say I've got two news stories I want to talk about, and then we're gonna have a big celebration of Mario because the day you're hearing this is the day that Mario Wonder comes out. So we got lots of Mario talk coming up. Uh, First thing I just wanted to real quick, I just had one thing to say about this news story is F-Zero 99's final new courses and not final update, but final new courses, because Nintendo basically said these are the last courses we're going to add. There will be future updates to the game, but they just added on October 18th, they added Mute City 3, Red Canyon 2, and Firefield. So that's going to be it. All the tracks. That's all you're getting. They said they will like do updates for like improvements and stuff. So the game's not going away, but those are the last tracks we're going to get. And the one thing I wanted to say about this is maybe now that they're not doing any more content updates for this game, maybe that means now they're making room for F-Zero on the Game Boy Advance to show up, that they keep hinting it is coming.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's so funny the way Nintendo puts out their news and their updates. Like they do this all the time. Like they did it with Animal Crossing, where they said we're gonna do one big update and this is it. Like they told us in advance, and it just reminds me of like a mother being like, "You get one big toy or two small toys, and you do not ask me for anything else." Like that's what it reminds me of. Like it's just like we're telling you now, like don't bother us, don't be in our comments section. We're not doing it anymore. This is it.
Yeah. No, they're very much like you get what you get and you'll like it.
And that's it. I don't know. Like I think the hype is gone. I don't unless I'm completely wrong in this assessment. I haven't looked at any numbers or anything, but I mean, I played F-Zero 9. I played for 2 days.
I really just wanted to bring it up to remind people that F-Zero Maximum Velocity at some point is coming to the Switch Online service. And I think I don't know, hopefully this means it's coming sooner rather than later. That if F-Zero 99 is not a focus anymore, maybe 2 or 3 months from now, we'll finally get it. And then the only other thing that I thought was interesting this week. So the Wii U console that we were talking about a second ago, it's not over, guys. One single brand new Wii U console was sold in September of 2023, and the story reads, formerly the NPD Group, Matt Piscatella has relayed some new sales data from the United States for the month of September, indicating that a single Wii U console was sold in the country. This marks the first time a brand new Wii U console has been sold since May of 2022. It remains unclear which retailer sold the Wii U, given that the console was discontinued a few years ago, but it is possible that it was misplaced until it was rediscovered by the retailer. So somebody found a Wii U in the back room, and they put it out and sold it.
It sounds like it. And we've heard similar things happening before. Like it might have been clickbait, but I watched like a Pokemon card video recently where like the guy was like in a Target or a Walmart, and he found these like Gen 1 Pokemon cards like underneath this display that's it's been there for like 20 years, you know, and like he found it and it's really rare. It could be clickbait, but I think that's what happened. And just shout out to whoever picked up a new inbox. Hopefully it stays in box.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably a collector that knew exactly what they were looking at. And it was probably on like super clearance, like for like $60. They snagged it.
Yeah.
So we learned a little bit about the new Mario voice actor this week.
Right.
Or did you want to talk? We could talk about Hogwarts first if you want, and then the
Oh,
rest of the podcast will basically be Mario.
I had no intentions.
Okay.
I wasn't even sure if we're talking about this game on this podcast. Well,
Yeah, I'll
apparently,
tell you my history with Harry Potter real quick. Is I was a little too old when it came out to get into it, and then I had a job a few years ago where I just sat and waited at a desk all day, and I got really bored. And one of the things I did at that job was just out of curiosity, I read all the Harry Potter books. This was like, I want to say like 6 or 7 years ago. And I read them. And then I was like, all right, I'll watch the movies. But I'm kind of indifferent. I read each book just once, watched each movie just once. I was like, all right, I got that out of my system. I get what Harry Potter is now. And that's about my extent of knowledge of the franchise. I don't really engage with Harry Potter much.
I can't believe how big it is. Like the amount of students that I have that are bringing up Harry Potter and just love Harry Potter is ridiculous. I can't believe it. And I
Oh yeah,
mean,
it's like that generation's Star Wars.
but these are like, well, I mean, they have Harry Potter all around the world. I mean, I shouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised, but
they
but
also
these are
have Star
children.
Wars.
These are children all around the world as well. I just can't believe it's actually to that point. But anyways, they released the screenshots, and there's been lots of comparisons online floating around. Um, it's gonna come out, guys. It's like I've been on more of the side of this game is never going to come out on Switch, but it's gonna come out. I've seen a lot of debate
Have they
online about
confirmed
it.
it?
Well, it
Because
comes
I
out
know
November.
nothing. Is this like something that's been announced?
It was delayed. I think it was originally, so it first came out in March. I think it was originally delayed. It was supposed to come out in like July or the summer, and it's been delayed one or two times since then. Uh, so the release date is November 14th. And if they're releasing screenshots 3 weeks out, I would say this game for sure is coming out. I do wish that since it is going to be of quite a lower quality, but still a good game, I wish it was $50. I'm gonna leave my price point discussions there, and I I think beyond that, we just need to wait because people are talking already about performance, and we don't know anything about that. And like and there's games of the equivalent that run fine on Switch. That's all.
And the Lego Harry Potter collection is also available on Switch if you just need to do some Harry Potter uh, gaming.
There, there's been a lot of the side by side Lego or the PS1 Harry Potter comparisons.
Oh, okay.
Uh, uh, yeah. So let's kick it back because the Mario
Mario
voice
voice
act.
actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, from like I said on another episode we did, I love all the audio clips I've heard. The subtle different I can hear subtle differences between him and the original Charles Martinet's Mario sometimes, like every now and then I hear something different. And every single time it's been in a positive way. I'm like, ooh, I kind of like that. I haven't heard anything he's done yet where I'm like, that sounds worse. So good for this guy.
Yeah, and there has been no comment at all from Nintendo about future things, like future anything. So that is, in my opinion, no no news is no news as far as that goes. But it'll be interesting to see, like in the future, like is he used more? Like, do we see AI voices used in the future? Because like I'm sure they didn't need to have a new voice actor for this game. Like,
Yeah. And the new voice actor, his name is Kevin Afghani. I think I'm saying that right correctly.
right.
And he doesn't have a big resume, so it's interesting that they went with him because I remember people saying that Charles Martinet didn't have that big a resume when he did Mario. So it's clearly something that they've done before where they've plucked someone out of obscurity and given them a long Mario career. So we're going to have to wait and see if this is a one and done or if he really is the new Mario guy or if
Yeah.
they're just going to get a new Mario every game now.
Well, I mean, Genshin Impact he was in, and I mean, I don't, I don't think he was a big character in that, but he has done some video game voice acting. But man, like I would love to know how that process and that conversation goes. Like, I want to know the conversation, like the phone call that you get when you find out you're going to be Mario. Like,
Oh my God. Yeah.
or even just the process of knowing that like it's a possibility.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like being cast as like Spider-Man or Superman or something in a movie. It's like on par with that for me.
and then it's like I didn't even think about this. It's like being like a Navy SEAL because like could you imagine like not being able to like talk about that for months? Like
Oh yeah.
like you did something that's like in video game is like it's you can't go higher than that in video game voice acting, and you can't talk about it. Like you can't tell people like some I did something cool. That's it.
Yep. Yeah, it's like working on a Marvel movie or a Star Wars or something where like you can't tell anybody what you're up to.
Yeah, and those
Too many
Nintendo
NDAs.
yeah those Nintendo NDAs I'm sure are intense. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
It's like a mob agreement probably. They're like we'll kill you and everyone you love if this information ever gets out there.
Yeah, yeah, and we won't even speak about leaks this week because I have avoided every single sort of leak
Oh,
that
me
is
too, friend. Me too. I am staying away from any video for Mario Wonder.
it's pretty intense. Like I won't talk about it. Like it's not me, guys. It's not me. But the amount of people playing this game already, it's pretty crazy. Like
Yeah, it kind of like upsets me too. Like I don't know, because the vast majority, over 50%, maybe even over 70% of the people who have pirated it are not going to actually buy it. They all say they are going. In the comments section, they're like, oh, I already pre-ordered it or like whatever. But it's like, no, you didn't. You're lying. You're pirating this because you're not going to buy it.
well, I'm just gonna digress on the whole situation. I mean, this is like I know I brought it up, but I have I'll just say that I have seen some screenshots, some things this week that I'm like, wow, like not only are you doing it, but you're also like putting it out there,
Yeah.
and
No shame. No
like
concern for Nintendo taking their channel down. Nothing.
yeah. So I'll just leave it at that. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen it.
But we want to celebrate Mario Wonder. So what we thought of to do that is we figured what we would do is go over Mario's history in his 2D games list. And I wanted to ask, I wish we had Sean and more people on this episode because I wanted to ask everyone, but I'll ask you, Harrison. So are you more of a 2D Mario or a 3D Mario fan?
I am for sure more of a 3D Mario slash 3D gaming fan for sure. But going through this tier list has been an interesting exercise in just lots of nostalgia. I'll say that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, how about you?
I know I'm more of a 3D Mario fan, but there are some things like that I do like a lot of 2D games. Like I play a lot of Mega Man, and I like Mega Man Legends. That was a 3D Mega Man game, but I don't think it's better than the classic series. Things like that. So I'm sure if I thought long and hard about it, I would find a series where I prefer the 2D over the 3D games. But like, for example, this is kind of close. Pokemon, I prefer when it looks like the handheld versions versus the newer, like what Sword and Shield and all of those ended up looking like. I prefer the sprites.
Well, those games look horrible though. I'm sorry. I'm being negative. But I'm being honest though. We haven't, besides Arceus, I guess we haven't had a good looking three, and Pokemon Snap if you were to include that. But like we have
I
had a good
definitely prefer 2D like Donkey Kong Country over Donkey Kong 64. So there's
very,
that there.
yeah, very true. And I want to include also that there's a 2D Mario game on my video game pantheon, like on my Mount Rushmore, and there's no 3D Mario game that's in my top 10, like possibly top 20. I don't know.
Well, I threw all the 2D Mario games in a random order, and what we're going to do is we're going to put them on a tier list. So S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. I told Harrison this week, I'm like, we don't need the F tier. Every Mario game is at least playable, and to me, that's what an F is when you're like, I can't even play this thing. So there's that. Um, I wanted to ask too. So when was the first time you were introduced to the concept of an S class or an S tier? Because I have a specific memory of it. It's something I've always kind of thought was interesting. Mine is, so I'm positive the first time I ever heard S tier referred to was the Chocobo racing in Final Fantasy VII.
Mm.
Never heard of it before that. And I always kind of wondered where, because in my life before Final Fantasy VII, everything was like grades. Like you got an A plus and that was the highest you could go. And now there's S above A plus.
I don't have any connection to that besides that it's something from Japan, right? It's like
I think so. I mean, it was in the Final Fantasy VII game. So
right,
maybe.
like S is super, and this is foreshadowing. We're about to get into it, but I almost feel like S wasn't enough for this particular tier list, but I feel like I shouldn't say anything more.
Well, maybe
So
we just need to bring the others down more. Because
yeah.
I watch some of the videos I watch where they do these tier lists is they edit them as they go and they start saying, well, now I have too many Bs, so I'm going to move some of the Bs down and stuff like that. So I
That
don't know.
that's fine. I have the graphic pulled up. So if you want to do the order, I'll put these up as we go, and we can always move things around um, as we go on.
So we're starting off strong with a game that not everyone has played, but the first game that it went with is the Japanese version of Super Mario Brothers 2 or Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels, however you want to look at it. My thoughts on this game are there was like a period in video game history where the strategy was every sequel was like the same thing but more difficult. Like that's what Final Fantasy 2 is like. That's what the second Metal Gear Solid on the NES is like. It was like that was just the idea, like just do the same game but more difficult. And that's definitely what this game is. In fact, I'd say beyond, people want to always say like, oh, it's so difficult, this game. I think it's beyond difficult. It's intention. It's trolling before that was even a word. This game is intentionally trying to upset you. So I don't know what your thoughts on it are. Have you
Well,
played it?
we were talking just before we hit record about old YouTube and I mean, for me, like prime old YouTube was Super Mario Frustration, which I actually don't know if he's playing Lost Levels or he's playing like some really really old mod. I mean, this is like a video from 2007, but like that's what it brings me back to. And I think there's lots of inspiration being pulled from it now when you see the it's how big like Mario Maker is, like how big that franchise is, if we were to call it a franchise. I have core memories of playing it on Super Nintendo, um,
Yeah,
and
the collection was All
and
Stars.
yeah, in the collection, and remember being frustrated by it, but also remembering just thinking that it was cool because it was something that we didn't have, and
I
you
remember being
showed.
confused as to why the poison mushroom killed me. I remember being like, no, but it's a power up. What happened? Did I get hit by an enemy I didn't see? Like I
Right.
didn't know. I my brain wouldn't accept that they put in an item that kills you.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of difficult games being difficult just to be difficult, but I think this game does have a lot of charm to it. I think it's aged well. I think it is a fantastic game when you're not constantly focused on Super Mario Brothers 2, which I need to leave off. I need to not talk about too much because we haven't gotten there yet. Um, Kevin, for me, this is a B tier game. What do you think?
I was gonna go with C tier, but um, I see where you're coming from. We could put it on B for now and see how the list stacks out. I've never had a lot of love for this game, to be honest. It I don't like difficult games, like you said, and like I said, I feel like this game is trying to upset you. But I guess you know what? I could bump it up a little bit for being basically a an homage to the first Mario game. Like you said, it's like a Mario Maker version of the first Mario game. So yeah, I could see B tier. We'll put it there.
Okay, we'll put it there now, but that's a first. That's a hard first one to talk about. All right,
Yeah, for sure.
what do we got then? Okay.
And then the next one in the random order is New Super Mario Brothers, the original one. So I like I said, I remember when this one came out. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. It was really cool when I got that giant Mario mushroom. That was cool. Collecting the 3 coins, which was a new thing at the time, was really. People forget how much that changed 2D Mario. I mean, everything, like even Super Mario 3D World adapted the hidden golden coin thing. So that was a big deal. And having the different characters you could play as was really cool. I don't think it's necessarily S tier. I think at least the first new Super Mario Brothers I would put at A, not all of them.
I think you nailed it. I think uh, this game has lots of nostalgia. I think it's an amazing return to 2D Mario because like how many years before that did we get our last 2D Mario game, like
It was over
Super,
10. I
Super Mario Land 2, I guess. Um, so yeah, it was like 10, 11 years. This game came out in 2004, I think. So anyways, I think the quality is amazing. It's pretty clear to me that like for a lot of adults now, this was their first Mario game. So I think
yeah,
it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful that a game like this got so many people into the franchise. So for the quality, I think this is an A tier game.
perfect. Yeah, I wish they had done a 2D Mario on the GameCube. That would have been really cool, but whatever. Or even the Nintendo 64. We talked about Yoshi's Story,
Yep.
how that's all alone. But anyway,
Yep.
the next game we're talking about is the mobile game Super Mario Run, which
Okay.
to me, this is one of the only ones that belongs on a D tier because I've tried with this game. I never paid for it. So I'll admit, I only played the first world because that's what you can do for free, which is 3 levels and then a dungeon castle, a Bowser castle. Um, it's just, I don't know. It doesn't work for me. Like I understand that there's a market for these type of just tap your phone and Mario automatically runs, but I don't know. Like it's really frustrating when you miss a coin and you can't go back and get it. Like that's what Mario games are. If I can see it, I should still be able to go back for it. So I don't know. I feel like Nintendo knows it too because I don't feel like they supported the game very long.
Yeah, along with however many other Nintendo mobile games apps there are out there. Uh, this is just a weird selection. You have more to say about it than I do, so it it's going in the D tier. And
That was what I was talking about earlier in the podcast. I was playing it this week to try to give it, the benefit of the doubt. And I just I played the whole first world again, and I was like, no, not, not a fan. I even, when I opened the app for the first time, I was like, oh, maybe this time I'll get really into it. And it's only a $10 purchase if you want the full game. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll get, $10 for a Mario game. That's pretty good. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll get really into it and I'll actually buy the full game this time. And even before I was done playing that first level that I was playing, I was like, nah, this isn't going to happen.
yeah, I think it's a longer discussion, but I think there's so many other ways that Nintendo could have gone for making a mobile Mario game,
Mm-hmm.
and structures that already exist as well. So yeah, okay. Well, let's see if that's the lone D tier or what's gonna happen.
Next up is New Super Mario Brothers U, which is a game I really like. You know what? I've been going first on a lot of these, though. What are your thoughts on New Super Mario Brothers U?
I haven't done this one. So
Oh, you haven't?
so I have so your thoughts. So I'll just get back to you then. So are we talking about Wii U, the Switch version, or just both?
We should probably talk about the original release version of each one. I'm thinking that way no one has an unfair advantage. So the Wii U version.
Yeah. Okay. So this is I would say one of two or three I haven't really played. So what are your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are ever since Mario Wonder has been taken over everyone's mind, I keep seeing people, and maybe it's my algorithm, I don't know, but I keep seeing people trash this game online. And specifically, I've seen them trash. There was a reveal trailer that it had in, I forget if it was a presentation or a Nintendo Direct. I think it was a Nintendo Direct, but people trashing like, oh my God, like look how lame this game was. And Nintendo really wanted us to be excited over this. And I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it. I've seen people trashing the squirrel suit thing as a worse version of the raccoon suit. I really like it. I like it more than the cat suit, which they've been pushing a lot lately. That said, I don't think it's an amazing game. I would put this on B tier. I think it's comfortably there. Like people are acting like it's an F. And I'm like, no, it's a solid B. I'd even go as high as B plus, but I wouldn't put it on A. So that's where I'd put this. New Super Mario Brothers Wii U, B.
And then just real quick, have you played it on Switch?
No, it's one of the ones on. I have a list of games that I want to eventually get through the voucher program, and I think it'll be the next time I get a voucher, it'll be one of the 2 purchases I make with the voucher.
Okay. All right,
So
great.
there was that one. And then, so perfect follow-up is New Super Mario Brothers 2. which was actually the third new Super Mario Brothers game. It's weird that they titled it that way. Did you play this one?
This is the other. Okay, so we're just gonna get out after this one. I'm good. So
Okay.
you
Yeah, I
take it
played it.
away. You take it away.
So to me, this is out of the four new Super Mario Brothers titles, I'd rank this one the third. Um, it didn't really do much different. It had this gimmick where you collected coins, and then the super reward was if you got like I think it was something crazy. It might have even been 1 billion coins. As crazy as that sounds, you got like a Mario statue on the home menu, like a golden statue, and that's really it. And to me, the joy of like collecting the coins kind of when they're everywhere, they're not special anymore. It was like every world was like those things in Super Mario World where you hit the switch and the coins appear everywhere. That was like the whole game. So yeah, I'm gonna go with C tier on this one. It's like I said, the third ranked new Super Mario Brothers in my opinion.
Yeah, this might fall. This might be a good nomination for one of the worst titles as far as names go.
Well, yeah, because it was the third one.
Yeah, even just us going through this list, I feel like I have to like really focus on these names if we're going out of order. That is so. All right, okay, so we're if we're following along, we're filling out this list pretty well so far.
And next is a big one. So the next one on the list is Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World 2, which counts because if anybody out there is wondering, you do play as Mario when you get the star power up. You play as Baby Mario, you run through the levels, it counts. And also in the title is Super Mario World 2, so we're counting it. Pretty much the only 2D game with Mario in the title we're leaving out is Wario Land New Super Mario Land 3 because Mario's not playable in it.
So Yoshi's Island is going to receive my most complicated rating award.
Okay.
For this reason, I think I think Yoshi's Island is the best 2D sequel. Although you just heard me, I haven't played like New Super Mario Brothers 2 or something, But in my opinion, it's the best 2D sequel. Yet it's not my favorite 2D sequel. But I do think it is the best. Um, I think it adds a lot to different gameplay styles, whether you're a completionist, like there's a lot of things that you can collect, there's a lot of things you can check off in this game. And also it's Yoshi, like I would for sure give this an A tier, like solid, like for sure. But there's another sequel that we need to get to that I'm not going to talk about right now. So what are your feelings?
I don't know. Going off of our thoughts when we reviewed the game in the other episode, I thought this was an S tier for me. One of only like three maybe on this list. I don't know, but to me it was S. It's got so much charm. It's got so much unique a feel to it. The play style's obviously different because you're Yoshi through most of it. I don't know. There's the atmosphere is another good word for this game. There's a lot of good atmosphere when you're in those caves. It's so special. You got the Shy Guys doing their dance or um to me this is S tier. I don't know if you want to there's no real way to meet in the middle, so I don't know what we're going to do here.
Let's do it. I mean, I'll tell you, for Yoshi's Island, I put A, and then in parentheses I put S because it was like
Okay.
it's kind of a flex for me. But yeah, let's keep going. Let's get into it because I think you're going to see why it gets a little bit tricky for me towards the end.
Yeah. Well, next up is another mediocre title. I mean, well, the worst Mario games are still better than some entire franchises like ever achieve. So, Mario's lows are other franchises' highs. And this low that I'm talking about is New Super Mario Brothers Wii, which is actually what should have been New Super Mario Brothers 2. This was the second one.
Right.
Uh, I ranked this one fourth out of the New Super Mario Brothers games just because I felt like it was just the DS game brought to the Wii. Like it changed almost nothing, except for the level layouts, obviously, because it is a different game. But yeah, I'd put this on C tier. How about you?
Um. Yeah. I'll put it C tier. I could do I could do C or D. I don't really care too much, but I will say that the initial reviews of this game were fantastic. I do believe I haven't looked this up, but it did receive a perfect score from Famitsu. Like I think you have to get 36.
I think a lot of that is it's a Mario game on a console, and people were like just happy to have the handheld game on their console at the time. But I don't know. To me, it was just like the same game.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, it looks great. I mean, like it looks great. It would like. I think. I think graphically, it would still hold up today.
Hmm.
There is. I feel like if I was 10 years younger, I would feel differently about this game. That's it. That's it. Like the same way when I was doing research on New Super Mario Brothers, I come to find out that like a lot more people love this game than I imagined. So I think this is one of the games where it's like, hey, like if you're a listener and you like this game, let us know because let's put it at the C tier then.
Hmm.
Okay, all right. Good job with the randomizer because we are done with the 2000s. We're done. Thank God.
Yeah, and there's 5 solid games left, right? Or more.
Six.
Six solid games left. Yeah. So the next one is Super Mario Brothers 2 US, or Super Mario Brothers USA, as it was known in Japan. The one that
Oh,
everyone, it's required by law that you mention this was actually a reskin of Doki Doki Panic every time you talk about it.
yep, yep.
Um,
And go ahead.
no, you go ahead. I've been talking a lot about these.
This is the one where like I'm gonna have a lot of bias here, and I grew up with the three original Super Mario Brothers games. This was always the oddity, but I think just over over time it just ages really well. Perhaps because like when I was younger, I didn't have a lot to compare this game to besides like other Mario games. But hey, like now it's like there's plenty of weird games out there. So I think this is an awesome title. I always wish they would do more with the lore and like the characters and the like in these games because a lot of it's just kind of lost and out there, but I think it's got a lot of charm. It introduces some really cool new mechanics that are not in three and not found in one. To me, this is an S tier game, but I'm extremely biased on this game because I love
Mhm.
it. I think this game is awesome.
I was gonna go A, but you made a strong case for it. And it's weird because I mean we haven't talked about these other games yet, but I have talked about certain games that haven't come up in the list yet that I personally like Super Mario Brothers 2 more. So I guess we have to put it on S for that because I know those other games are going to make it to S as well.
So, I mean, I'll put it right next to Yoshi's Island, and this is the one that I wanted to get to because, again, like while I think Yoshi's Island for sure is the better sequel and the more logical sequel. Mario Brothers 2 is still very, very innovative and very, very cool. Um, just just for its time, has your perception of this game changed at all since from like when you originally played it till today?
Uh, I've always loved it, to tell you the truth. So I don't think so, but I don't think there was anywhere for it to go. like it, it's always been. I played. I might have owned it growing up. I can't remember that far back which games I owned and which games I rented for the NES, but someone in my neighborhood owned it because I played it constantly, probably as much as you played the other games we haven't talked about yet. I played Super Mario Brothers 2. So I've always had a lot of love for this game, and I always go back to it. Like when I got my Nintendo Wii and they had the Virtual Console, definitely bought it there. I played the All-Stars version a lot. I didn't play the Game Boy Advance version a lot, which we talked about when we did those reviews. But other than that, yeah, I love this game. There's just
Yeah.
it's so different, you know? Like it's nice to have a Mario game that doesn't play like a Mario game every once in a while.
Yeah, and also just one that has just like so much charm. Like there's something there, and
The music is great. People don't talk
yeah,
about the music in Super Mario Brothers 2 enough. That like that came
yeah.
from that. That wasn't in the first one, you know?
Yeah, so I think we feel the same way on it. Like my feelings have changed over time to more of just like I think there's just a lot more opportunities for games like this. So awesome, cool.
All right, speaking of innovative, the next one on the list is Super Mario Land, the Game Boy one. The story that comes to mind whenever this game comes up for me is, did you ever hear the story of I can't think of his name right now, but the guy who created the Game Boy? Um I think it was him advocating that Tetris be the pack-in game, and Nintendo was trying to make Super Mario Land the pack-in game. And the argument that was made was, and you know, this doesn't sound too good by today's standards, but that at the time they said, if you want to sell the Game Boy to boys, put Super Mario Land as the pack-in. If you want it to sell to everyone, make Tetris the pack-in. And that's why they went with Tetris.
Uh, yeah, it doesn't sound so good. It's like not to be too much on this side, but it's like hey, like we got boys, we got girls, like so that's everyone, right? Like we got both. And listeners, I'm being sarcastic. Like I'm playing into it. Like of course it's not so good. Where's the remake? Like
That's a good point. Nintendo like acts like this game doesn't exist.
yeah,
I mean,
because
I know they did. They put it on Switch Online, so they're not completely ignoring it. But they haven't done like any follow ups. The most we've gotten out of this game is Daisy showing up in things because she started here.
how much money would it take to make like a good reskin, like a good colorized version of this game, and then people will buy it for $40. Uh, so I'm surprised that this game has not been remade. I remember playing it on 3DS a little bit,
Hmm.
um, and uh, I think it would be a nomination for the Nostalgia Award. I think it would be up there. I think a lot of people have nostalgia of this. I don't know where to put this one.
Yeah, I don't either because it does have some drawbacks. The first being it's very short. There's only 12 levels for the whole game. You can beat this game in like an hour. Um, the other is that even only having 12 levels, some of those levels have sections that repeat, which I don't think I haven't seen a lot of people talk about that. I've seen a few, but not a lot. So that's kind of like a cop out. And yeah, it was because of the limitations of the system at the time, and they were still figuring out how the Game Boy worked. But we're kind of talking about how these games hold up as well. So I don't know. I could see, even though it was great for the time, putting it on C tier. I'd go B or C for this one. I'll let you make the call.
Let's do. Okay, so I think we should do. Is it on the same level as the Lost Levels? Is it better than Super Mario Brothers, New Super Mario Brothers 2? I think we're going B tier
Okay,
for
that
now.
makes sense.
For now, let's see if there's any movement left. Okay, let's. Okay,
And then
let's see.
towards the end of our list is the game that started it all. Super Mario Brothers is the next one we're talking about.
Hmm.
I mean, this game saved video games. You kind of have to make it an S, don't you? Like, it created the formula that everything going forward drew from. I mean, I know it wasn't the first side scrolling game, but it was the first one to do it this well.
I think I think this exercise is important, but it's going to be impossible to do it. If you make the biggest effort to just take out any important, like iconic nostalgia in your mind, do you think this game stands alone as a good 2D platforming game?
I think the lowest it would rank for me with nostalgia and everything removed would still be an A, because like indie games that come out now, like uh, Meat, what's a Meat Boy was
Yeah,
things
Super
like
Meat Boy. Sure.
Super Meat Boy. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, like just side scrolling indie games that come out today. Um, I would still be comparing them to this game. And if this game came out new today, I'd be like, oh, this is awesome. You know, there's the hidden warp pipes, and there's level variety. You've got the normal levels, you've got the underground levels, and you've got underwater levels, and you've got the levels where the cheap cheeps are flying through the air, and you're trying to avoid getting hit by them, like the bridge levels, I guess you could call them. Um, and yeah, like I don't know, the warp pipe thing is really cool. Bowser's a really cool design, even right from the beginning, and it's fun to avoid those fireballs and then hit the hammer and collapse the bridge. That's a lot of fun. So yeah, that's what I'd say about it. Is even if this game came out today, I think it would still hold up. I think it would be, if it were like an indie game, it would be a super successful indie game. I think it's at least an A tier, at the very least.
I think gameplay alone is an S or A tier. I think it's amazing that a game this old will support so many different play styles. Like you mentioned, I mean, I've done a playthrough of Mario Brothers, and I've finished it in like probably about 12 minutes or so. I never timed myself, but like I probably I did the warp pipe to World 4, then World 8, and but I've also played it like multiplayer where like you just chill and you play for a couple of hours and you just you enjoy the journey as much. So I think outside of it just being a crazy iconic game, this is a great game. So this has to be S tier, and this is getting to the point now where I almost wish we had an S plus because
Yeah.
I mean it's just it is what it is. Like I can't say anything more about it that we've said today or has been said a million times already.
Yeah, and it's going to get even harder to determine that S plus system, like you said, because the next one we're talking about is Super Mario World, which it's the debate is between Super Mario World and Super Mario Brothers 3 is which is the best in the series. So this is like an obvious S, I think.
Um, you know, I the, this has been a long segment already. Could this be a nomination for most important 2D Mario game or possibly Mario game? Because
Yeah, for
like
sure.
because the way it stretches the Mario universe, right? It's not in the Mushroom Kingdom. The way it stretches Mario as a character, just showing off his personality and just showing off like all the different things that he can do in this game.
Well, I think people forget how much this introduced too. Like they haven't been able. Um, Arlo talks about this on his YouTube channel on how Nintendo has had a lot of restrictions over what they're allowed to do with the Mario character, and I feel like this was the last time they were able to do crazy things. Like, think about it. They introduced like football players in this game. There's dinosaurs, and not just Yoshi, but like all the different kinds of dinosaurs that you have in the levels. Um, there's so much new enemy designs and changes to the enemy designs. Whereas like there's there's Goombas in this game. Did you know that? Because I didn't know that till recently. Those weird tomato-looking things are apparently a different species of Goomba. So they let them completely redesign the Goombas. Um, it's like I don't think since it took until Mario. This is where I learned this. Is I don't remember where I heard this, but it was some YouTuber mentioned that Mario Wonder is the first time they've been able to make this many changes since Super Mario World. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah, and some odd changes as well. Like yeah, he's like the football player, or what was the power up? Is it the H wing, or I think it's the H wing or something another wing or something where you become the fat guy Mario and
Oh yeah, yeah,
and you float and he looks in pain. Like it looks like he's in very in very big pain. We're you know what we need to get going a little bit. So let's
yeah,
um, um, this is um, this is S tier, right?
yes.
This is S tier, and it's not getting moved, right? Okay,
No.
all right.
So next is where is it? Oh, uh, Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. My quick thoughts on this one. Personally, for me, because of nostalgia, this is an S tier in my heart. But uh, I played it recently. Whenever they added it to the Switch Online service, I played the full game, and it's very short. I noticed a lot of stuff that my memory didn't keep. I think this is probably B tier.
I had it in A.
All right. Like I
Flexing
said,
in
I
A.
love it. I'm trying to be objective. So
Yeah. I had it in my A, flexing in the B. And it wins. This one wins my one to play it award. Out of every game that we've talked about today, I think this is the one that I would most want to play again because it's I haven't played it in so long and it's weird. Like once
yeah, you
again,
should. It's short. It's very, like I said, it's very short. The week it came out on the Switch Online service, I played it, and I think it took me like 2 play sessions to beat the whole game.
right. So it's been so long. It's is it on the online service?
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. So hopefully we pick it because out of I think besides Wonder, I think this is the one that I would most like to go back to. Um, it it looks so much better than Super Mario Land. Like it looks ridiculously. It looks way better than the game before it.
yeah, it's a very big upgrade, especially if you put the filter on, and I think it had like Game Boy Color enhancement to it. So you get that. I've seen people playing online. I've seen clips of like a full color version, and I don't know if that's like a ROM that people made or if there's a way to filter it. I don't know. I got to look into that.
Yeah. That's cool. So, for reference, like if that's in the A tier, then the only other A tier then would be new Super Mario Brothers. I think that's good.
Yeah.
And then those are the two games that are right next to each other chronologically, but are still very, very, very spread out. All right,
And then you
Kevin.
know what? We can hold off on our talk on Musha this week just so that we can gush about the final game that's left, because I think it's worth it for the release of Mario Wonder coming out this week. I think it's worth it to just make this a Mario centered podcast. What do you think?
That's fine. If you were tuning in to listen to Musha, we apologize.
Yeah, this is Mario's day.
Yeah.
The day this podcast posts, Mario Day.
We know there's not too many Musha-centered podcasts, so we do apologize about that.
Well, you'll get it next week. And then maybe we'll have Sean here because he played it. He just isn't here to talk about it. So that's actually better for him too. Anyway, obviously the last game that we haven't talked about yet is Super Mario Brothers 3, which is the other clear S tier candidate. Like, we're not even going to beat around the bush here. Like, are we going to pretend that we're going to put Super Mario Brothers 3 at A? No. We can talk about how much we love it.
So I'm a huge hip hop fan, and there's a song by Jay-Z I reference all the time called "What More Can I Say." It's off the Black album that came out 2004, which, oh my God, it's almost 20 years ago. And just in case you didn't know, that was supposed to be Jay-Z's farewell album, and it's 20 years later and he's still doing music. So, anyways, I reference this song a lot when there's something that's so great and has been talked about so much, and this game would be it. Like, I could go on and on about Mario Brothers 3 and about how important it is to me, but there's nothing I haven't said about it already. It is so far beyond my favorite game on this list. It is easily on my Mount Rushmore of favorite games. It's what made me a Nintendo fan, honestly. Like, and if we had an S plus category, it would be way up there.
It's crazy to think of like how big this game was at the time too. Like, I think we talked about this during our episode where we reviewed this game specifically, but remember they had the cartoon show was called the Super Mario Brothers 3 cartoon show. like yeah. It included the 3 in the title of it for some reason. Like, there was no 2. If you go from the Super Mario Brothers Super Show to that, there was no in between show. So that was weird. It's the third best-selling NES game, 17 million copies, which is crazy even by today's standards.
But was or was not a pack-in game because I don't know if that affects the numbers.
I think it does, but it's still
regardless.
Good. Yeah,
regardless, it's insane. Regardless, it is. Like I wish we could look at like inflated numbers of that, because it would be way up there. I mean,
I learned. Oh, sorry, I thought you were done. I learned 2 new things about this game this week that I never knew about. First off, I never knew about the white mushroom houses. Do you know those?
No.
So if you collect a certain number of coins on certain levels, it generates a white mushroom house.
Yes. Okay, got it.
Okay. Yeah. Never knew about that. And the other thing I never knew about that I think is interesting is one of the screenshots shown on the back of the box art is a level that's not in the game. Isn't that weird?
Well, that I didn't know.
Yeah, it's like this weird there's an orange sky, and you see like the whatever those enemies that are like they have shells but they're flying and they have wings. But yeah, it's not in the game. So yeah, there's just so much about this game that's awesome. So many memories. It had Happy Meal toys. How many Mario games have Happy Meal toys? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a horrible game to not have save states. It was a horrible game to play on a rainy day if your electricity was going to go out. I mean, like, uh, I, I'm a bit stuck, Kevin. I mean, there's so much depth to this game, and we've
First
already
game
done
to
our.
have the Boo, which I
Mhm.
love Boo. He's one of my favorite Mario characters, the ghosty thing.
Yeah, it's just a crazy leap. It's just like we're never gonna see like I would never go back in time for anything. I'm very happy with where we are in gaming now, but we're never gonna see a leap in a console from the beginning where you have Mario Brothers and then the end where you have Mario Brothers 3, which is like so much more massive.
No, that
Way more
it would
massive.
be like if Super Mario 64 came out on the Super Nintendo. Like, like I know what
Which,
you're saying.
yeah, yeah. So I don't. I'm stuck. I don't know what else to really say about all of it. We've done a review. We did our draft list of power ups. I mean, if I were to ask my parents, like if I were to explain to them like what a Mario power up was, and then I asked them to guess or list the power ups they know, they would know Raccoon Mario, like like or like So there's just it's crazy iconic.
The hit Limp Biscuit song, I Did It All for Tanuki.
Yeah,
Classic.
yeah.
But yeah, it's oh, and mandatory mention of the movie The Wizard while we're talking about Super Mario Bros. 3. Everybody remembers seeing it for the first time there, blah blah blah. You got to say it every time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, Kevin, we did it. I think we
Why don't
should.
you
So,
read through the tiers real
yeah.
quick? I know you're
Okay.
going to post them online, but for people who are only going to listen,
Right. So because we need to make sure this is final. So S tier, we have 5 games. Wow. Yoshi's
I mean,
Island.
it's Mario, of course. You know, it's
It
one of
is
the
Mario.
best franchises ever.
It's Mario. This isn't Edge magazine, people. This is not Edge magazine. This is the Nintendo therapy. You know what you when you click play, you knew. You know. S tier. Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Brothers 2, Mario Brothers, Super Mario World, Super Mario Brothers 3. Okay. A tier, new Super Mario Brothers, and uh, 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 the 2 golden coins. Super Mario Land 2 golden coins. You see, even I'm doing it, okay?
Yeah.
Um, B tier is Lost Levels, Super Mario Brothers U, and Super Mario Land. C tier is New Super Mario Brothers 2 and New Super Mario Brothers Wii. And then D tier is Super Mario Run. Um, I'm I'm exhausted. I think this is a good list. I don't.
Yeah, and if we want to, if you're right, if we did have an F tier, we'd move a lot of stuff down one rank and spread that S tier out. I think, but or like you said, you could do S plus, and we could maybe move some of that S around. But honestly, I think the only one I'd move, the only one that wouldn't advance to S plus, I think, is Super Mario Brothers 2. Like that's S, but I don't know if it's S plus. But
Okay, so if you had to kick out an S tier game, which one would it be? So we
yeah,
have Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Brothers 2, Mario Brothers, Super Mario World, or Super Mario 3.
Super Mario Brothers 2, I think I'd kick out if I had to. I wouldn't mind that being one ranked, one below, but that's just my opinion. I definitely wouldn't, like I said when we brought it up, Yoshi's Island to me is like a S tier all day. I want to marry that game.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right on with that, because it would have to be one of the sequels, and yeah, I think you convinced me. I think Yoshi's Island's there to stay. So, well, they're all there to stay.
And if you want to check out the list, you can see it. It'll get posted eventually at some point, either today or tomorrow when you're hearing this, on our Twitter, which is called X now, and we are at Nintendo Therapy. We've got an email. If you want to send us your tier list, we will read it on the podcast. We got nothing better to do. So send that to nintendotherapypod@gmail.com. Let us know your tier list for 2D Marios, or if you want to rank the 2D Marios, that's cool too. We'll read it on the pod. Let us know. So email nintendotherapypod@gmail.com, or you could send it to us on Twitter, I guess, there too, if you have a way to do that. And we got a Reddit, Nintendo Therapy on Reddit. I need to get on that more. And I mentioned this on here once before. I did start a Facebook group for us, but I kind of just did it as a placeholder. But if you get in there, I'll talk to you. So look up Nintendo Therapy on the Facebook groups, and we got one of those. As always, it's not YouTube, but subscribe. If you're not subscribed, that way you get us every week. And leave us a review. That helps new people find the show, which we're a newish show, only 40 episodes. So we're trying to find our listeners, and would help if people could find us in search engines. So leave a review. And with that, do you have anything else to say this week, Harrison?
I'm just a Nintendo fan.
Not a Nintendo expert. So perfect. We'll see you all next week.
Game over.